I'm literally gibbering like a schoolgirl. I'm just twittering about. And I mean that by twittering in the post-cyber Twitter way. With the fact that every intel source we've got says the whole globalist agenda is in trouble, it's falling apart. That doesn't mean they're not dominating us, they aren't in control of us, but the world, as Zbigniew Brzezinski said 3 weeks ago, is now awake to their agenda. And the people are now getting faith that we can turn the tide against these people. And it's that understanding of who the true elite are that is our salvation against corruption. Going back to Charlie Skelton and the time we have left with him, and Paul Watson joining us via video Skype is coming up. Charlie, I can only commend you in your journey of awakening. And so much has happened. So much is going on. You did report, though, that there were people being detained and arrested. What happened on that front?
Well, look, I have to repeat. It started a little bit, but it just tailed off, and everyone I've spoken to, and includes the few people that were arrested and the ones that were tended to be, 30 yards away from the hotel with a long lens. No one had a problem, and I didn't. One of the things no one had a big problem. One of the things I should say is that the guys that were arrested and taken to the chief of police, who told them that he admired them, he looked at their footage and he just handed it back. He handed the camera back and didn't delete his footage. So that's. It's a different kind of experience, and I'm not saying that police forces the world over aren't brutal sometimes, but this year we've had a very good and positive experience, and with the police, and I think that it's hard to pick. There's so many different positives to draw from Bilderberg 2010, and one of them, and perhaps you could argue the most important, is a good relationship with the police, because if that relationship falls over, then it all falls over for us.
Well, it certainly does. Other key points I haven't asked, other important pieces of intel. Can you give us any foreshadowing of what's coming up in your final Bilderberg 2010 report for The Guardian?
Yeah, I can. Apart from some more picture, we've got a game called, which your listeners may enjoy playing, called Spot the Delegate. Because there's a few there that we do know that, but we're not letting on, and there's quite a few delegates that we can recognise from their particular lanyards and the beady eyes that we don't know, but we're throwing it open to the world. So come along to The Guardian, have a look at the delegate snaps we've got, and see if you know who they are. And if you do, you probably know quite a few, so you might win this one. Join the game.
Good. What's the headline on that? Spot the Bilderberg delegate?
It's going to be Spot the Delegate. Yeah.
All right, in your blog. So it's not up yet. Tomorrow. It's not up yet, but it's going up as soon as you can get those emails to The Guardian,
yes,
the biggest newspaper in Europe. Okay, now, lastly, what about your mock press conference? That's a good way to point out how ridiculous this is.
Okay, I'm just going to backtrack very slightly, very quickly, and say, another amazing thing. I just looked at the Guardian website's page where it says the most viewed pages on the website, and one of my reports about Bilderberg was the second most well-read, most viewed report on the Guardian the last 24 hours, and that's the whole newspaper. And that's just extraordinary to think that amount of traffic and that amount of forwarding around, and is
because
happening.
The Guardian is numero uno. It's the #1, from what I've read, English paper in Europe and England. English speaking.
My parents would disagree with you, but yes.
Well, it's that or the Times of London, and from what I've read, The Guardian has a bigger readership.
Yeah, no, I mean, it has online, certainly, and these days that's perhaps the most important place to be. But yeah, in terms of the press conference we held, it was a little bit of a stunt, but actually it turned into quite a useful thing. We were staying at a caravan park. We set up a press office in our hut. Bungalow 19, and we started handing out lanyards, and we started handing out information and showing photographs of delegates. If you spot these guys, let us know. And basically, bit of background on Bilderberg, and we essentially were making the point that if...
I tell you what, Charlie, we're back in 1 minute. Do 3 more minutes with us. I want you to be able to finish. One of my crew speaks fluent Spanish and Portuguese, being from Brazil. And he did go to the Spanish newspapers and did confirm it's all over the place. Police deployment cost 600,000 euros, and multiple police agencies and the conclave of Sitges and others complained and said they should have their own security and called us if there was a problem. We don't like guarding these people and bankrupting. So, I mean, and the police just had their pay cut all over the nation. So that's going on. Here is the actual Spanish Publico.es, one of the big papers over there. And it's, I can't speak Spanish, but it's El Despelingo Politico Cuesta 600,000 euros. Did I butcher that well? You like that Spanish? Hey, Phil, Philbert, come on in here and you read the headline in Spanish to folks on the mic over there. We'll get you to read the Spanish headline. Charlie Skelton, we were talking during the break. You said that there's overall a feeling by all the media that this was a major breakthrough this year. Can you finish up with that and what happened with your little press conference?
Well, the press conference was just a bit of fun, but a bit of pointed fun because if they're not going to handle their press, we'll handle it for them. And but I'd like to say, in terms of the good feeling and in terms of the positive feeling that people have drawn from this, I'd like to, far be it from me to tell your listeners what to do, Alex, but what I would like them to do, if they've ever thought about having a worthwhile holiday, and if they've ever thought about coming to a perfectly extraordinary event and meeting some amazing people and doing something that's important and sometimes exciting, sometimes frightening, but just a significant thing, then I would say when we find out, whoever finds out when Bilderberg 2011 comes along and where it is, find a little bit of extra cash. If you can't go, club together, send one person, come along and join in with everyone. I
agree. By the way, that's why they've announced that they want government to only allow essential travel. So, I mean, they want to lock us down in a neo-feudal state. Here's the headline in Spanish from Spain. Go ahead. We got to turn his mic on, guys. Go ahead now. Yeah, I don't think his mic's on. But, well, it doesn't matter. Screaming across the room, everybody can hear it in Spanish. Go ahead, Phil. El despliegue policial cuesta 600 miles euros. All right. Hey, thanks a lot, bro. Hey, that's exciting, Charlie, that the police are awake.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, sympathetic, and some are. Some have said, I'm reading books about this. People. Yes, there's an awakening happening. I say that. I really think so. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean they're all awake, but compared to what it was, this is an awakening. Well, we commend you. We can't wait to see your Spot the Delegate. They're on The Guardian, #1 or #2 story on the site. I would imagine all your stories together in the aggregate are the biggest story right now on The Guardian. Thank you so much, Charlie Skelton. God bless you, my friend.
Thank you, Alex.
Amazing job from him. What a great idea to everybody to go to the next Bilderberg meeting. Instead of having a few hundred people, how about a few 100,000 telling the rulers of the planet that they have gotten their power through ill-gotten gain and that we are taking our liberty back from these globalists that are using communism to take control of our lives. Now going to Paul Watson, who will host the balance of the transmission. Joining us via video Skype for PrisonPlanet.tv members and radio listeners is Paul Joseph Watson. Paul, what's coming up in the next 55 minutes after we come back?
Well, Alex, we've got a huge new Bilderberg story. I'm very excited about this one. I think it's probably, in terms of not coming from leaks that journalists have got out of Bilderberg, but directly from Bilderberg members themselves, I think it's probably the biggest story, certainly of this year, and it's going to answer a lot of debunkers who have attempted to claim that Bilderberg has no power and no influence over world events.
All right, so you've got some new breaking news. I haven't even heard this yet. Did it just go up on PrisonPlanet.com?
It's going up straight after the show.
Oh, so you're not even done yet. You're going to be writing it during the breaks.
I've written the article, but it's going up as soon as I get off the air.
Well, you need to, during the next break, put it up, Watson. All right, Paul Joseph Watson hosting the show, his maiden voyage. Thanks for joining us. Straight ahead. We'll be right back.